We want to practice graphing quadratic equations that are in vertex form, and we will do that by starting to identify what the vertex is and what transformations have been done to the quadratic. So given that f of x is equal to x squared plus 4, I don't see any parentheses at all, so that means that the x value of my vertex hasn't moved from the original 0, but I have a 4 tacked onto the back side, so I know that the y value of my vertex is 4. The one thing that I see that's different from my parent function, remember the parent function being f of x is equal to x squared, is I see a plus 4 here. And so a plus 4, so that's a k value, and so we are moving up by 4. Finally, I want to graph this quadratic. So I'm going to set myself up a little table here of x values and then a place to show some work because there are a couple of operations that we need to do to get from x to y. So I'm going to start with an x value of 0. Why? Because this is my vertex. I know that my vertex is actually at 4, but let's prove it. Let's plug 0 in to our equation up here into x squared plus 4. So we're going to say that x is equal to 0 now and see what we come out with. So we will have 0 squared plus 4. And that's going to simplify to the 4 that we actually already knew we had. Let's plot a couple more points. I always like to start with my vertex and then go to the right and plot as many points as I can fit on the graph. So if I start with an x of 1 for my next case, I'm going to have 1 squared plus 4. Well, 1 squared is 1 plus 4 is 5. Then I'll plot an x of 2. And if I square the value of 2, I get 4. And if I add another 4 to that, I get 8. I can see that my graph only goes to about 7, so I'm going to stop here and plot those points. The points that I'm going to plot are 0, 4, remember x then y, 1, 5, and finally 2, 8, which I'm going to have to estimate a little bit to be right there. And I can draw the right side of my graph from those 3 points. Draw kind of a half of a U shape. Because the vertex lies along the y-axis, the vertex is the location of our axis of symmetry. So axis of symmetry is another new vocabulary term. And a lot of times we'll abbreviate that as AOS for axis of symmetry. And what that axis tells us is that if we know half of our graph, we can reflect over that axis of symmetry and fill in the other half. So if I am at 1 and have a value of 5, then I can reflect and go 1 over from the axis of symmetry and plot a value of 5 as well. And then my value of -2 and 8. So this will give me my graph. So let's make ourselves a note that we are filling in the left side by symmetry, by reflecting basically, because we know that a parabola is symmetric about its axis of symmetry.